What do we got here?
What do we got here? Well, it's that magic hour. It's time for
2Spooky. And we're very tired.
So tired.
But there's a rule.
One rule.
No laughs.
Do I hear fucking laugh?
I swear to fucking God, if someone laughs over
You
here.
laughing? No, he fucking laughed. Shut
Is that
up.
a smirk?
A chuckle.
We don't enjoy laughter on 2Spooky. We don't appreciate laughter.
Laughter
on 2Spooky.
sucks. Laughter's awful.
This is the shit when shit gets horrifying. You want to see something fucking horrifying? Look over there! Ah! Fuck!
Shut up! Shut up! It's not
Stop
funny!
laughing!
It's not
Stop
funny!
fucking laughing!
It's not funny!
It's so spooky!
You laughing?
No, I didn't fucking laugh, because that's the most
Shut-
horrifying shit I've
What is
ever
that?
seen!
I can see you now!
Have you seen anything like this?
Oh God! He's not just spooky!
What is that?
He's too spooky!
Too spooky!
No laughing! No laughing! Shut up! Wait! I'm horrified.
You guys ready to see this shit? Are you
What?
guys ready to see what this becomes?
Oh God.
I don't think anyone's ready.
Let's reveal who's behind the spooky mask. It's another spooky mask. No one could have seen that coming.
No
That's the
one.
kind of horror
No
you're in
one.
for.
No one!
But who's behind door number 2?
Let's find out.
Suddenly
it's okay.
The dog's scared and he fucking should be. That's right. The spookiness here.
The Spook Master himself!
Quick, take that shit off. I can't
Get it
stand
off, it's
looking
too
at it.
scary, it's
I
too
can't
scary.
stand looking at it. I
Blaine,
can't stand
we're
looking
trying to
at
have fun here. We're trying to
Take
have
it
fun.
off, take it off, take it off, take it off, take it off. Take it off, please.
It's a bit, Blaine.
I'm getting actually real scared now. The dog's
Blaine.
scared. Everyone's scared.
Gus does not like it.
No one should like it.
We're supposed to have fun.
No one should like it. One very important thing. Some of you may have noticed. Our very dear Kyrian Care Bear Shawcross is not with us tonight. He's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. Stop. Stop. Okay, you're doing great. I need you to stop.
No, he's doing
Stop
great.
saying he's dead. He's not dead.
He's doing great. He's doing great.
Hey! He's dead tired. Because that boy was sick this week and he has a whole lot of work to do because he's a really, really hard worker and a great friend.
He's doing great.
And I'll tell you what's the scariest of all. Spreading disease.
That's very
You
scary.
know what's the scariest of all? Being an adult.
It's
Being
very
an
scary.
adult is very scary.
Wednesday.
Please shut the fuck up, I swear to God. So, hey. What is that?
Spooky news.
Harry is dead.
I'm gonna hit you in your goddamn mouth.
So not what it is.
Oh, and I'm doing this for the kids, buddy.
Oh, don't act like you're not getting off to this.
I am.
Slap sound.
Lick it.
I'm so not ready, just do it.
3.
Gus can do it, Gus can do it. Oh! Yay for the kids!
It's what they did.
I think that's 7. Is that 7?
Might be 7.
That might be 9.
That's number 9.
So we have
Number
8
9.
more
with,
spins.
with
Spin.
Ryan's included.
Cole, let's spin this wheel.
Let's spin.
You have 8 more spin. No! That's number 10.
That's 10. So we've
All
got
right.
It's been 20
Spin number
minutes,
2.
do it. Spin number 2.
Let's hold him down.
Oh yeah.
Jeremy.
All right, we're holding him down.
Does that feel good?
He will.
Does it feel good?
Feels real good.
Tell him how good it feels.
Oh, and
Are you shitting me, Elena on Giles?
Miles, wait a minute.
We're gonna shave Miles.
Oh wait, hold on. We didn't get it all. Didn't quite get it all. One more.
you gotta go against
Miles,
the hair.
we're also shaving your
I'm
face.
going against the hair.
I believe in
Tell us about it, Kyle.
Mom.
Tell us what you're doing.
Well, I'm applying the wax, and what you have to do is go against the grain
I will
in
do-
one swift motion. Yeah. Jeremy's rugged. He doesn't want to come out.
He's a fighter. Go for 3. Ready. This went to shit so much faster than I thought it would.
It did, didn't it?
It really. Fuck you!
It's still
That's good enough.
There's a little bit more.
a triple.
What do we got here?
I'm gonna slap before I drink.
All right, lift it up. Lift up that little tummy. Oh shit, my handprint is like on ya. All right, Cole. We're gonna play a game called lightsabers.
Okay.
You either poke the other person with your finger, or you fuck up, or like they move their legs. I'm gonna kick you in the dick. You sit. You wait.
And a 3.
Then you gotta win,
A 2.
Cole.
Go.
You can do this, Cole. You got this.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, you're shooting your shot.
Redo. 3, 2, 1.
He's got to take a shot.
You lost both
How does it
times.
feel to
That's
win?
2 shots. That's 2 shots.
Academy. I want to thank my mom. I want to thank Giles.
Oh, God. You
Go. Start timer.
All the crackers in his mouth now. And
Sweetie.
you can see that he's really
hold up on
jumping on
that.
those crackers. It's a dry experience, and he's gonna give that a full go.
Oh, that's all those crackers.
And it's
of
all
them.
in there.
It's all
It's
in.
all in there. How you feeling, bud?
Oh, no, just close
Not
your eyes.
great. Not
One
great.
dry dick.
You want a little liquid in that?
No, like, wait.
No. Oh, God. He's like emitting dust. He can't. He can't.
This is amazing.
No, he's choking. Changing colors. Like the Mount Vesuvius.
20 seconds. 20 seconds. Patrick.
You got this.
Patrick, you can, don't speak.
No.
Don't speak, sweet child. Just chew. Just chew with your big old
Gotta speak, gotta
jawbones.
speak.
I don't know
all
the
the stuff you've had
words
in your
here.
mouth over the
Don't
years.
tell
It's
me
not the
cause it hurts.
Spooky.
What? Send us that fucking shit, cock!
Oh, that's
Spooky.
I'm gonna spin the wheel.
That's sure upsetting. Yeah.
Just let me die
Deep in that
here.
belly.
Get down in there. Get down in there. Get down in there. No,
Wait, how
no,
many
no.
are we doing?
I don't know, but I'll be right
16
here
quick
the whole
shots.
time.
Yeah, we'll never let you go.
Yeah, it's gonna be really good.
How did this? Oh, it's so cold.
Yeah.
One more.
Who's someone sagging out?
That was it. Ellie's got
Check it out. Ellie, get in there. Ellie, get in there.
Ellie, get in there.
For fuck's sake.
Someone else. Are you doing it? Are you? Okay.
Everybody's dying to do it.
I went to college.
They're all dying
Did
to do
you?
it. They're all dying to do it. How do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel?
I feel.
How much do you? How much do you?
much
How much do you owe student loans?
What?
How much do you owe student loans for this?
Too much.
About 40 grand.
X-ray invest. Oh shit! No laughs. This is not funny.
X-ray and bad.
Stop laughing!
Wait, he didn't finish his shot.
This is like.
Oh, he did. Patrick,
This is just us selling our bodies,
Where's it?
Four more of these to do.
and I don't know how I feel about
Is
it.
this Patrick?
Spin that
Stewart?
wheel.
Bitch. Hey, also, you didn't do your goddamn shot.
Oh God. There's no God.
A wheel.
Hold on. Well, because I feel like that's a thing that the people.
Hold us while we do lightsaber.
Son of Cheese Master.
Jesus Christ. All right. Hey, are you ready? Give me some eyes. I'm so proud of you.
Shook
I'm
it.
so proud of you.
Do the little like
This boy's got
bikini
water.
lady. Bikini lady.
Shave me. I'm dead inside.
Yes.
How did this set get so messy so fast?
Sideburns.
All right. What's first? Shaving me. My
I think you're scarier with your face.
All right. This
Thanks,
is fun.
Cole.
Mean.
Are you ready?
Yeah, just fucking Giles me,
We're good.
Dad.
I think we're
It's
good.
Giles time.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say.
Can somebody
How
hold
are you
it?
feeling?
Yes.
I'm sad because I love my. I have mountain man beard from my camping. Oh.
Not no more, you don't.
Oh.
Now memory.
No.
Yes.
Oh no.
Leave
I'm
it.
Wolverine.
Is that Wolverine?
That is Wolverine.
Do you see Wolverine?
Hey there, bub.
Is that Wolverine?
I'm gonna get you with my claws. That's what. That's what he
That's
says.
what he says.
That's what he says. And that's what he said.
What are we doing? Mac dead fight. Mac dead
No,
fight.
take that. No.
Oh yeah.
Take that mask off. You take. Spider-Man. 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 Get it. Yeah.
Yes.
So real quick, I just saw myself in the monitor. Fuck me up, fam. Just fuck me up. We told this story while we were out camping, and it like straight up ruined Blaine's night. So I'm like super excited to read it if I can just fucking find it. Here's my story.
Good for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good for me.
Be 16, be black, and have a family down in Alabama. They farm and own a huge amount of land down in Huntsville. Uncle owns a big house and a bunch of trailers they put up out in the woods for hunting or camping. Down south cousins suggest that we go there to camp. No, I'm a city kid from Chicago, so they tease the fuck out of me, collect food, kill a pig and some chickens, and bring necessities to camp out for a few days. We get to the camp, and it's obvious something's weird. Yeah, it's right to cry, dog.
Exactly.
The air has this weird electric smell, like right before a storm, like ozone. We think nothing of it, and unpack and go down to a little creek to swim for a few hours. All of a sudden, some older white guy and a white teenager come out of the bushes. He has a shotgun in the crook of his arm and says hello and asks us what we're doing this far back in the woods. I tell him about my uncle, who he knows, and say we're camping out. He tells us that we need to be real careful out here and stick together because there was a big animal in the woods. His son, who's my age, asks if he can stay and hang out with us, and he says okay. Now, I'm going to stop green texting here because the story is fairly long and the format is harder to write in. So we end up playing football, dicking around with me, and there's this white kid, Tanner, 5 of my cousins, and then 4 of their friends. In total, there were 5 girls and 6 boys. We were all around 15 or 17. We ended up just dicking the day away, so we head back to the camp and pulling out some stuff for a campfire, even though the trailers both had kitchenettes. Tanner says that his family's property sits up against my uncle's. He wants to run home and ask his dad if he can come out camping with us. My cousin Rooster says he's going to go with him since it's going to get dark soon. And the girls also wants to tag along. It's about 7 o'clock, and it's starting to get pretty dark. They take flashlights and take the trail toward Tan's property. The rest of us chill, we make s'mores, drink, kiss on the girls. About 30 or 40 minutes later, there's the smell of ozone again. You could smell it over the smell of the fire we'd started. This really nasty, coppery smell, like right after you had a nosebleed and it stopped. It wasn't exactly like dried blood, but it was that nasty, metallic back of your throat smell. We immediately think it's some kind of electrical malfunction or someone left a hot plate on or some shit. We search the trailers and nothing's on. We can all smell it. All of a sudden, we can hear people booking down the path towards us. And Rooster, Tan, and the girl all come running into the clearing out of breath. And they don't even break stride. They all run into the trailer, right by where the fire is. We all get the fuck out of there and into the trailers. They end up calming down. Even Rooster is crying his fucking eyes out at this point. All the while, the fire is guttering lower and lower. So my cousins say, fuck it, and are about to go outside to get the generator out of the shed between the trailers. Tanner goes, fuck no, lock the front door. Ain't nobody else going outside. He's been crying too, and his eyes are bloodshot and puffy, and his pants are dirty as shit. He goes on to tell us that they went up to his house. His father said sure, he could go out camping, but to make sure they were careful on the way back, and that maybe they should take one of the hunting rifles just in case. Evidently, Tanner had seen something in their yard a few days before. One of their pigs had come up, ripped up and half-eaten. And they assumed it was just some big cats or coyotes, even though they don't usually fuck with live animals. He'd gone upstairs and packed his stuff and told his dad they would be okay without the rifle because coyotes avoid people. So they walked back toward where they could see us camping. So Rooster finally stops crying and shaking. The girl already had, but she was just staring out the window with a dumb look on her face. He says they'd gotten halfway into the woods toward the camp when they started to hear shit in the forest. It was almost pitch black by this time, so they weren't sure at first what the fuck it was. The girl says that she heard something in the bushes right off the trail. And they all beamed their flashlights over there, and there was someone standing back in the woods in a little hollow. Rooster said they shouted at him and told him he was scaring the fuck out of them and what a dick he was. And he says that's when he realized that the guy was facing away from them. So they keep walking and they start smelling this nasty coppery ozone smell. They said that they look off into the forest on the opposite side, and it's a dude standing in the forest, backward, slightly closer to the path. So now they start power walking, and Tan keeps going, I should have taken the fucking rifle. As they're telling the story, the smell is still super strong even inside the cabin. They say that after they started walking faster, a kind of low gibbering had started coming from both sides of the wood. And as they started booking it back to the trailer, the girl said she had flashed her flashlight out into the woods to the side of them and had seen something jerking itself through the woods. The gibbering just got louder and louder, and when they could see the light from our campfire, something had come out of the woods about 40 yards behind them onto the track, and they just flat out ran as hard as they could into the trailer. So We're out in the fucking woods, and we're assuming at this point it's some rednecks or some shit trying to fuck with us. All of a sudden, my other cousin, Junior, starts going on about how he went to school with a native kid that was telling him about the goat man or some shit. We promptly tell him to shut the fuck up because we don't need any spooky talk right now. But he just keeps going on and on about how it's the fucking goat man and how we're in his woods and blah, blah, blah. Now, at the time, I'd never heard of this goat man or any of that, but then a couple years later, the year before I graduated college, I had some Native American guy for a roommate. I ended up asking him about it. And to sum it up, it's basically a fucking man with the head of a goat, and he can shapeshift as he gets among groups of people to terrorize them. It's also supposed to be kind of like the Wendigo, and it's bad mojo to even talk about it, and even worse if you see it. Keep in mind, I didn't know this back when I was 16, so my cousin's going, the goat man's going to get in and fucking get us. And the girls are all terrified. My cousins and I are all fucking trying to figure out if it's just some hillbillies or if it's some animal. So all of a sudden, the smell just goes away. Like, to this day, I haven't experienced anything like it. Like, usually smells fade away or lessen. It just literally was there 1 second and then not the next. So it's after an hour, making it around 9 or 10, we stopped shitting bricks enough to go back outside and stoke the fire again. We figure it's just some assholes trying to fuck with us, so we don't go back home because we think if we do, they'll chase us through the woods or some crazy shit. Nothing else happens that night. And we stay another night, and for the main part of the night, nothing happens. But at around 1 in the morning, we're outside getting drunk and telling ghost stories. You know, it's the smell comes back. It's so fucking strong that one of the girls literally starts vomiting. I stand up and you can actually feel how clammy the air is. I say we should get inside. This isn't right. We should have just fucking left. We all go back inside and we're standing around. My cousin just keeps going on about how it's the fucking goat, man. My cousin Rooster tries to shut him the fuck up, and all the while I'm just feeling that something is wrong and I can't figure out what the fuck it is. We end up sitting there for a while. The smell is just as strong, and we're terrified and all huddled in this camper. We end up cooking brats for everyone because nobody wants to go outside. It's one of those packs with 4 brats. We have a total of 3 packs. I grill them on the stove, give everybody a hot dog. I get mine. After a while, one of my cousins gets up and goes over to the pot to get another one. He starts grumbling about how I get 2 brats and everybody else only got 1, and I look at him like he's fucking stupid. I tell him that everybody got 1 because there were only 12 brats. If he wants more, he should open up a new pack and cook some more. That's when the girl that had been out with Rooster and Tan just starts screaming, "Oh Jesus, oh Lord, get it out." She's crying and shivering, and then it dawns on the cousin standing up what the fuck is wrong. Me and him both glance around the room, and then I feel my heart fucking sink. I run the fuck out of the cabin, and the girl runs out with us. The trailer door is banging against the side of the trailer as everybody books it out of the cabin. One of my cousin's friends asks us what the fuck is wrong, and I start counting us. There's only 11 now. I shit you not, my cousin verified. There had been 12 people in the cabin. But being that everybody didn't really know each other well, nobody had really noticed the whole fucking time that there was an extra person. And then I realized earlier that I'd kind of noticed something was off. You know how when you're just dicking around having a good time that you don't sweat the smallest shit and you don't always keep track of certain stuff? Well, I'm dead sure that someone else had been in the trailer with us. They had been there for at least a fucking day eating with us. What makes it worse, I couldn't figure out which one because I don't think anyone ever actually interacted with the other person, the goat man. The girl kept praying to Jesus, and we're all sitting outside. Eventually, we get a big-ass stick and go back in the cabin, but there's nobody there. So we count again, and there's 11 people. We go back into the trailer and lock the door. We explain what the fuck happened, and the girl says that she realized too, and that when he was about to say something, the person sitting next to her had grabbed her leg hard and leaned over toward her and said something she couldn't understand. So we're pretty much scared as fuck as we huddle together and I fall asleep. When I wake up, the sun is just coming up and half the people are asleep and the other half are packing our shit up. We all want to walk back home, but like 4 people want to stay until the sun is all the way up. And some people think that we're just fucking around and still want to stay in trailers. I just want to get out of the fucking woods. The girl's name, by the way, was Kira, the one that the goat man had touched. Anyway, I asked her if she really thinks it was something bad, and she just says that she wants to go home, and she doesn't want to be out in the woods alone for another night. So, we decide to split up. The 4 that want to go can go, but I have to stay because I have the keys to the cabin, and it's my uncle's, and I have to lock up. And I'm super pissed at this point because I feel like people aren't taking this shit seriously, and I definitely didn't want to be out in the woods for another night. I spend the rest of the day trying to convince the rest of the people, now 4 girls and 4 guys, to get the fuck out of Dodge. Tanner leaves with them to go get a rifle and says he's going to be back. So there are just 7 of us left by 4 p.m. It's about, at around 5 p.m., he hasn't made it back yet, and we're getting extremely fucking antsy. The only reason I stopped begging them to go back was because he went to get a gun. It's about 5:30 p.m. or so when the one cousin that did stay says that the girl, Kira, is outside. We all look outside, and sure enough, she's standing by the fire pit with her back to the cabin. Now I'm thinking to myself, if she was so fucking scared, why the hell would she come back? And then I get this nasty feeling in my gut. Keep in mind the whole time the coppery smell has been gone, but now I realize I can smell just a twinge of it. I say this to the rest of them and everybody, and these are the people that wanted to stay in the fucking woods. Everyone is laughing at me and asking if I set this up to scare them. I'm looking at them like I'm not fucking bullshitting you at all right now, and I ask them why the fuck would I play like that. So one of the girls goes outside to get Kira. She gets halfway to her and stops cold. Kira starts heaving. I don't know how the fuck to describe it. Sort of like if someone with their back turned was laughing without actually making a sound. It was this fact that made me realize there was not a fucking sound in the whole woods. It was dead silent. So I step out the door and tell her to come back in the fucking trailer right goddamn now. She backs up into the trailer and we lock the fucking door. We pull down all the shades except one and put a guy there in a chair to watch her. She stands there for another 20 minutes and the guy turns to say that she's still there and there's a huge fucking bang on the door. We all jump the fuck back and scramble around the living room of the trailer. The banging is super fucking loud. So now my cousin is holding one of the girls, and the other 2 are kind of giggling with nervous laughter, and me and the other 2 guys are shitting bricks. And then we hear Tan, and he's screaming, "Let me the fuck in. Stop fucking playing." So we go over to the door and open it, and he stumbles in with a rifle, and there's nobody else outside. Evidently, he had walked up to the campsite. Nothing weird happened in the forest, but he'd seen a girl. Mind you, he said it was not Kira standing there. When he'd gotten to the edge of the clearing, she had turned toward him with a slack-jawed look and just stared him down, slowly tracking him as he walked around the campsite of the clearing towards the camp. He said it wasn't till he was almost halfway to the trailer he had realized that she was getting closer to him. She had started off by the fire, and without him even seeing her move, she'd been turning, inching closer. He said he just ran the rest of the way back to the cabin thinking it would open, and when he got to the door and it was locked, he turned and it was about half the distance to the door. He looks around the room and then gets super pale. He pulls me to the side and whispers in my ear, "You know there are only 7 of us in here, right?" I get that feeling where your stomach drops into your nuts. It had been back inside the trailer while we were sorting out who was going where. And then when we all went outside to talk earlier that day, it had just slipped right back in. We looked out the window and there's nobody out there. So we recount everyone, and then basically I go over and ask everyone how many people were here earlier, and everyone says 8. And I say, well, how many are here now? They all do the count and then realize there are now only 7 people in the cabin. So Tan had brought back a couple of boxes of ammo in his rifle. He told told his dad that there was some kind of animal in the forest because he didn't think his dad would believe him if he said it was the goat man. He says that his cousin is supposed to be coming down in a few hours and that in the morning we can all go back to his place and his cousin will drive us home. Now I'm really fucking terrified, but at least I feel better because we can be American and shoot the fuck out of whatever it is that comes back. But then My cousin gets into this huge argument with one of the girls because she thinks I'm trying to be funny and prank them, and she's getting really scared and that I'm not funny, and he keeps telling her that I'm not that kind of person, and she says, well, how do we know the girl wasn't just Tanner in a wig? Or if it's really the Goat Man, how do we know that this is the real Tanner and that Goat Man didn't just kill Tanner in the woods and take his gun? So we get into a huge fucking argument about this, where me and Tanner are like, we could seriously be in danger because at the very least, someone has been sneaking themselves into our fucking trailer without us knowing and mingling with us, and at worst, something bad is in the forest fucking with us. So one of the girls is crying and saying she wants to go right now, and we're trying to tell her that she shouldn't because none of us are walking through the woods in the middle of the night. At this point, the sun is starting to go down, and it's getting a little cloudy out. So we eat something and turn on the radio for a while, but we can't really get a station out there, so we turn it off. And about that time, Tan's cousin shows up. He was like 19, I think. At this point, the sun is just barely over the horizon. He has one of those heavy-duty lantern flashlights and another rifle. He walks up the trailer, and we whisper to Tan, asking, hey, are you sure that's your cousin out there? And he says, yes. So the guy looks behind him and all around the camp, then walks in. He kind of glances at us and looks a little confused, and he says, well, where's your other little buddy at? I figured she would meet up at the cabin. Is she a little slow or something? He also asked whether we'd been cooking blood in the cabin because it smelled like blood and hot pans all the way up the trail, and we were like, fucking nope. But we asked him what the fuck he's talking about and who this girl is.
Oh.
Did not like that.
Spooky.
He had come down the same trail Tan had been using, and he had come up on one of you guys' buddies standing in the middle of the trail, looking at him slack-jawed. And he asked a bunch of questions, but all she did was just look at him, and then she smiled at him. And he said he kept walking. She couldn't seem to keep up with him and kept lagging a little behind. He said he asked her if she was hurt or something, and if she needed any help. But she had continued to stare. Eventually, he'd been walking around and turned around a bend in the trail, but when he turned around and went back to see if she was okay, the trail was empty. He assumed she'd just taken some shortcut through the woods. We tell him the whole story of what's been going on, and I half expected him to say we were full of shit, but he just listened and then sat down on the couches in the living room. Tanner's cousin gets back to the girl. He says when she had kept trying to lag behind him, it kind of weirded him the fuck out. So he tried to keep her in front of him, but no matter how slow he walked, she was always lagging a little behind. And then he smelled this nasty smell. As it got stronger as he got towards the camp. Eventually got really strong, and she had said something really low that he didn't catch. And when he turned around, she had been right the fuck up on him.
Oh.
And he stepped back from her. It was at this point he asked her if she was okay, and if she wasn't, if he wanted her to carry her back the rest of the way, but she just kept staring. He said he reached out for her, as in to grab her on the shoulder, but he must have misjudged the distance because she was off to the side of where he'd put his hand, like she had moved while he was looking dead at her. So, at this point, we all know this shit's real, unless Tan is playing a joke, which we can tell he's not because he's almost pissing his pants. So they load up their rifles, and we eat some more, and we just kind of sit around until about 11. To this fucking day, every time I think about this, I really pray to God that it's some huge prank that my cousins played on me and just never revealed, so I would shit for the rest of my life. Because at around 11, the stink of copper turns into an actual nasty, gross, blood-like smell, like cooking blood and singed hair. Tan and his cousin Reese get the fuck up instantly and grab the rifles. There's like a half knocking, half clawing at the door, and I shit you not, there's this voice. And it sounds like when you see those YouTube cats and dogs whose owners teach them how to talk. It says in this halting, weirdly toned voice, "Let me the fuck in. Stop fucking playing." It made my nuts creeping up against my body, and one of the girls just starts crying and calling on Jesus. It was so fucking obviously not a person talking. It didn't have the right cadence, and that's some shit that I never really realized until that moment, but all people have a certain cadence when they talk. No matter what language, all people have a certain kind of rhythm to talking. And this shit didn't have any kind of cadence, didn't have any kind of rhythm. One of those YouTube cats, that's what the fuck it sounded like outside the door. So now I'm in full-on terror mode, and we keep yelling, "Who is it? Stop fucking around, man." And it just keeps saying "in" or "let me the fuck in" for about 15 minutes. So then smell goes away for a while, and for the next hour or so, you can hear someone basically creeping around in the woods and shit. Every couple of minutes, it'll come back to the door and say something. And finally, when the smell fades away, it's around 2 in the morning, and Reese says, "Man, fuck this," and opens the door and walks outside with his rifle, and he fires a shot into the air and says something to the effect of, "In the name of Jesus Christ, go away!" He fires 2 more times, and then from the woods, right up against the river, across the trailer, it sounds like something is slowly gibbering and hooting. And then it starts screaming. And it sounds almost like a woman and a cat in a bag screaming together. Like, seriously, I have never heard any shit like that. And you can hear the brush over that way start to shake. Reese fires over into the tree line and then starts backing into the house. We lock the door and we can hear the shit keening and screaming. Reese says something had come out of the bushes super low to the ground, crawling toward the cabin, and he'd shot at it. And pretty much that was how the rest of the night went. It was literally screaming constantly for the next 2 hours, and we could hear shit moving out into the tree line, but it never came back up to the cabin until everyone had finally fallen asleep. Tan had been sitting in a chair watching the door with his rifle. Nobody else heard or saw this. And he told me 2 days later, after the whole thing was over.
Oh my God. That's a ghost.
That's sure a ghost.
He said he'd been nodding off after the screaming noises finally stopped. And he'd almost been asleep when he saw someone come out of the bathroom and then lay down in the middle of the floor to go to sleep. He just assumed it was one of us, and he nodded off.
It's him.
And then he said that he kind of realized something was wrong. And while pretending to be sleeping, he counted us. There were 9 people in the cabin. He basically didn't want to try to shoot at the fucking thing in the cabin and have it kill us all right then and there. Or have Reese wake up and start shooting and then we kill ourselves. So he just stayed awake all night, pretending. You're a piece of shit. Not then. Go away.
Spooky.
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 He said.
No.
Continue.
He stayed awake. Let's take it back. He stayed awake all night, pretending to be asleep.
Like Patrick.
He said sometimes it would stand up and kind of do this weird jittery thing.
Oh.
Or heave like it was laughing. But then it would lay back down. The story closes pretty weak because from my perspective, nothing happened. We woke up. I noticed that Tan was a little jerky and that he was avoiding looking at all of us, but we ate some breakfast, packed up, and started walking to his house. He stayed last in the cabin and said he'd lock up and bring my uncle's keys to just start walking and he'd catch up, which I didn't really want to fucking do. We got a little bit up the path when he came running up, basically just jogged back to his house. His cousin took us home. There was a window in the bathroom. Tan had gone back to lock up and looked in there. We were too stupid to lock a screenless window. The window was fucking up when he went in there. I'm guessing it had been doing that all along. waiting for us to fall asleep or slip up and then getting in among us. It walked with us all the goddamn way back to his house. And then he said it lagged behind to the back of the group and looked him dead in the eyes before walking back into the woods. And that's when Blaine would have scared you if he'd listened. And that's the fucking story. And for what?
I'm spooked.
Haley actually did a spooky thing in like the 5 years we've been doing 2Spooky. I honestly didn't know how that was gonna go because it's like a long as shit story.
It was.
That was.
Oh, what the fuck was that shit? Was that Pongo? Where the fuck's Pongo?
Wait, what is Pongo here? What are y'all? Are you not coming over here?
Until that fucking buzzer goes off, I guess we could play Spelunky. Or do you want to talk about what happened when we told that story where we were?
Oh yeah, that fucking sucked.
So we were out in Moab,
Red
Utah,
light.
which is like the middle of fucking nowhere. And we were staying in a camper in like a industrial park. It was super sketch. And then something awful happened. You talk, because I need water.
Well, so whenever you originally told the story, because he mentions in the story that the voice sounds like a YouTube cat. So when you told that story, you were like, like it was like all tone deaf and weird and shit. And we were like really getting into it by the fireplace. And as this was happening, we heard a crack behind us. We all three spun around. There was a guy we've never seen in our lives, like just carrying a bunch of wood. And he was like, "Hey guys, you need some wood?" And we're like, "Ah!"
You shut the fuck up. You go like you'd been sitting down, like we were like having chili dogs and shit. You go, hey, like you were a secret fucking service.
Well, I was trying to protect my friend.
You did such a good job, Blaine. You didn't trust that motherfucker at all. Ah! Those poor Spelunky people are just trapped in a cave.
Ah, Pongo!
Oh no!
So
Oh shit!
That's spicy boys.
I was so not okay.
Pongo.
So not okay.
Pongo, get him. Get him.
Get him.
Get him.
No!
Get him, girl.
No! It was me all along! Guess who's getting slapped in the stomach?
Tres, dos, uno, comer.
Oh, this was immediately a mistake.
Get it.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. That's a really bad idea.
I need that bread. I need the bread, I need the saltines.
You guys, my bad.
This is fine. I learned before not to drink water because it's just gonna spread that poison around. Give me that shit.
How do I get it out of my mouth?
Oh, Mrs. Baird!
You didn't do anything.
I licked it.
You alright?
There's all kinds of seeds.
This is fine.
That's in my eye.
Oh no.
No.
It's like someone is burning a hole.
Oh God, why the fuck did I volunteer to do that?
I don't know. I told you I would
This is
do
Spicy Boys, right?
Oh, you did?
it. Yeah, you're just stupid.
Oh, what?
Well, never again.
What part of this makes it look like I'm making good decisions tonight?
Not any single
I
part of it.
Are you okay?
I'm so great. That's not great. Oh, I wanna die.
Yeah, have some nog.
Oh. That's for the kids. We're trying to raise $1 million. And we can't do it without you. Oh my fuck. Thank you.
Terrible. It's like a kind of terrible.
No, it's worse.
I'm
If
sure
you were me, it's worse.
Yeah, you're worse, but this is bad.
I want to die.
Fuck.
What time is it?
Why?
Wake the fuck up. We have 2Spooky.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. You're so right. Oh, you fucking shit.
Wake
Yeah,
the
you
fuck
didn't like
up.
that.
Yeah.
Where's Max? I know
does
he's
that
horny for that
mean?
shaven.
Podcast milk.
What is podcast milk?
That's a new one.
Did not write that.
What does that mean?
Why is everyone saying
Who
no?
wrote podcast milk?
Did you write podcast milk?
Who wrote podcast?
I didn't write podcast milk.
What?
I don't know.
Explain
who
it.
wrote podcast
I remember
milk,
on the
but I was just
podcast
handed
they got
something.
Horizon Milk because it
What's
supposedly
in it?
doesn't
Why don't you
expire.
read
And it's
it?
been sitting there for almost
No,
a year to be
no.
drank on extra.
It says
Shit.
Jack.
Extra Life 2017 Best Buy.
Are we drinking Horizon milk?
No.
Yeah, it looks like that.
December 21st,
Podcast milk?
2017. Are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be. Oh God, that was so good. You did such a good job.
How's a fucking taste of your own medicine?
Why are you like this?
We're spinning the wheel.
What's wrong with that?
Spin that wheel. Miles. You tell me if I.
Spin that wheel again.
You fucking sadists. You goddamn monsters.
Son of a
Either
cheese
you
master.
love kids or you hate me. Either which way, thank you.
Still have a verdict to decide. Miles, smell this and see if I have to. Do I have to swallow?
Yes, you just swallow.
I'm not. I honestly not.
Who's not cheese
Well, then
mustard
don't.
yet?
Who would do it?
I'll do it.
You'll drink that?
No, I'll do the slap.
But you've already been slapped.
Yeah, but I'm the only one fucking volunteering.
Oh shit.
I'll do it.
Hold up.
I haven't been slapped yet.
Oh shit, he's drinking it.
Okay.
What does that mean?
It's pretty fucking gross. Take a drink. Take a drink. No, hey.
No, I put so much shit in my body. I've been bruised. I've been shot at. Fucking give it to me.
Yeah.
That's not great. Don't drink that. Oh.
Hey, keep the damn crackers in your mouth.
Yeah.
And those dry ass crackers. You can
Hey,
just
idiot,
see the
you got 20
pain.
seconds.
Yeah.
You can see the
He's
pain
sure
and
losing a lot of
discomfort.
crackers
He
there,
is, Chelsea. He is sure losing a lot of crackers and he's losing a lot of time.
Probably say you ate like 6 crackers because you just lost like a complete one.
Yeah,
he's-
he's just like
I
lost
mean,
so many crackers.
He's
It's
just
really
a man.
embarrassing
He's
for
just
you.
a man doing his best.
3,
but
2, 1.
unfortunately,
Hey Cole, your butt looks great in that Pikachu onesie. All right, well that
All
wasn't
right,
exactly
yep.
an invitation to do that, but here we
Ruined.
are.
and that's a right hand red.
Hand red.
There's not enough reds. There you go. Look at that thing.
All right, let's find it out.
Oh my God. Something happened off camera.
Yo, man, what are you doing?
One of our 2D animators, Jordan Battle, or better known as the guy that used to stare into the camera and on the spot. He also had a ghost pepper, just not on camera. And he and I just bonded over the experience of vomiting up a ghost pepper.
Nice.
And let me tell you,
Run away from the pommel horse.
Run away!
it burns just as much coming up as it does going down.
That's Mr.
Wait till it comes
Mr.
out.
Cole.
I came out my nose.
But you're that's not how
knees
you
go
sit
under
on
the
it.
No! You need to make little calls one day.
There you go.
My medicine's gonna get you a baby.
Ow! Ow! Fucking ow!
Just pretend.
That's another one.
God damn it, Cole.
Cole.
What happens?
It didn't hit.
It didn't hit, he said.
Sitting all the way
It's
down.
just you and Cole.
Wait. That hit.
Cole, how bad is it? Cole, how bad is it?
Reaction.
Cole.
I hate you. I hate you all.
All right, well, let's get Miles on there.
Miles.
Fuck it. It's the only thing I haven't done tonight. Fuck it.
You got
There
this.
you
You
go.
got
Fuck
this.
it. Hold on. It's that moment you just don't want to get up.
Yeah, Cole, you have to get up. Sorry, buddy. Sorry, baby.
I have 2 mics now. I have too much power.
Cole. Poor Cole.
Double fisting the mics.
He's such an angel.
Cole, how bad is it? It sucks.
You know what? You don't want me to answer. You do not want me to answer.
Miles, you have
Look
to.
at his little hands.
Spooky! It's spooky! Shut up! No laughing!
Man.
Chad.
Can I see what happens?
No, you don't. I can recommend that you not do that.
You're
Why
fucking
did you say that?
You! Why would you? Why would you? You didn't stop and ask if you should. You just said can I, and you did. But you never asked if you should, Chad.
I had to do it.
Miles!
You're dead to me.
Miles, it comes in waves.
Come on, Cole!
Now sit down. You gotta sit down,
Sit down.
buddy.
Take a seat.
Cole is laying on the
Yeah,
ground with
sit
his
down.
hand between his legs.
I know. That's the
Oh
best
man,
part.
just think about how long it's gonna take you to be able to masturbate again. Okay, guys, it's
It won't
okay.
be that long.
I don't want to
Shimmy back a little bit. 2 hours.
back?
Yeah, no,
Need some ice, buddy?
Oh, it's gonna hurt so bad.
Blaine is fucking ruthless.
And that hit him first try. First try.
No,
Miles, describe
Yeah.
what you're feeling.
Miles.
I think Cole's laying there
like
by
to take
himself.
Miles.
Oh, I'd just like to take this moment to thank.
Focused on Miles.
Oh my God, it really just comes waves. I just like to. I just like to take. I would just like to take this moment. What?
We have 2 more wheel spins.
To take him burn in hell. No.
It's for the kids.
Oh my God, I'm never gonna have kids
Two
now.
wheel spins.
2 wheel spins.
Just
It's
do
4
it, just
a.m.
fucking
It's
do it.
4 a.m. We'll wrap it up with this. We're gonna take a little break after 2 more wheel
Miles
spins.
Cole, you guys are almost free.
All right.
All right.
Yep.
3 6.
One more slap of the balls.
Die in a fire forever. This is your fault. This is all your fault.
You did.
And you know what? I love you for it.
No.
And the kids do too.
Thank you.
I'm going to die,
You did this to us, and we thank you.
and you know what? I'm okay with it at this point.
If it's for the kids.
For the kids!
For the kids.
And thank you, broadcast.
Thank you, broadcast.
Thank you very, very much, everyone. We're gonna take a little break, but.